Welcome back to the show. Jaxson Dart's been the talk of the Big Apple with his play so far in the preseason. He arrived as a rookie in a crowded quarterback room with some other veterans that include Super Bowl winner Russell Wilson. As you take a look at his stats through a couple of games, just a reminder, New York traded back in the first round to take him 25th overall out of Ole Miss, the same school that produced Eli Manning. Manning didn't start right away in 2004, the Giants having Kurt Warner on the roster, and we all know how that turned out. 2 Lombardis over the Patriots. All right, we've got Emory Hunt and John Breech to talk about this preseason game here that involves the Patriots and the Giants. And Emory, I'm going to give you first word when it comes to New York because you've been to so many practices and camps already this year. What have you made of Jaxson Dart so far, and what grade would you give him so far in the preseason? I think I can take a guess, though.
I'm giving him an A, and the reason why is the ecosystem they set up for him to have success. You talk about Eli Manning coming out of Ole Miss. You also look at someone that recently came out of Ole Miss, and Matt Corral, who didn't do well coming out of that system under Lane Kiffin. And the reason why I like the ecosystem and what we've seen from Dart is a sign of things to come is because they've allowed him to work through his kinks, work behind the scenes, develop that confidence to where what we're seeing out there in preseason games have manifested itself in his play. And so I remember everyone talked about the viral pick six that went the other way in his first pass in his first day of training camp. But the second that he threw an even worse interception, and I don't think he threw another interception the rest of camp because you're allowed to work through your mistakes. And if he was forced out there in the field early, it would have been an issue. But because he has the time and development behind future first ballot Hall of Famer Russell Wilson, it has worked to perfection. The plan is in place. They've done a good job.
Yeah, Breech, you've also given Jaxson Dart an A, but if I were to ask you, with those veterans in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, when might we see Jaxson Dart be the starting quarterback this year, you think?
Well, I think Brian Daboll's made it pretty clear that Jaxson Dart won't be stealing the starting spot for week 1. So we'll see Russell Wilson out there in week 1. But when you look at the New York Giants schedule this year, it is one of the most difficult strength of schedule, and it is absolutely brutal. So if Russell Wilson goes out there and struggles, which is certainly possible. I mean, look, you're playing the Commanders, Chiefs, and Chargers. Those are 3 of your first 4 games. You face the Eagles twice before week 8. And then a trip to Denver in there. So that is an absolutely brutal first half of the schedule for the New York Giants. So when I think about where Jaxson Dart might earn his first start, I kind of look at that first half of the schedule, and I think if Russell Wilson can't win at least 3 games, they get to the midpoint of the season, and they're 2-6 or 1-7. I think you turn it over to Jaxson Dart and let him finish the season. So I don't think you wait till December, maybe not even November. So how does Russell Wilson do in the first half of the season? If he struggles, just go to Jaxson Dart, because once you're out of the playoff race, there's no reason to keep him on the sideline. So I do think he's absolutely in there before the month of December.
Okay, Breech put it out there in terms of potentially seeing Jaxson Dart. If we go to position battles, Emory, you're going to stay on that side of the ball on the offense.
Yeah, one big storyline up front all throughout camp has been Evan Neal and his move to guard. And right now you look at the battle between him and Greg Van Roten. It's not that Greg Van Roten has played bad or average. He's been good. But Evan Neal has been outstanding so far this camp, which is a great sign for the Giants because you got this big mammoth guy that's inside as opposed to out on the edge. And he's much better inside as a guard. He's been dominating not only in the preseason games, but we saw him do a great job in the joint practices. He's been a stalemate for these guys up front along the line of scrimmage within their own team. And then on the other side of the ball, on the other side of the field, you talk about the receivers. This is interesting. Jalen Hyatt versus these bevy of receivers. The Giants have done a great job in acquiring undrafted rookie free agent talent at this position. Bo Collins has seen reps with the ones. We saw him on the receiving end of that rainbow throw from Russell Wilson in the preseason game. That's not the only guy. Dalen Cambray, an undrafted free agent, has gotten reps with the twos. Hyatt has kind of fallen out of favor because he's been banged up. He's added some weight. He's trying to figure out how to play in this offense. And so he's opened the door for these guys to make the team. So this battle here with these number 4 wide receivers is going to be what to watch for in this preseason game.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the opposite side of the ball and take a look at this cornerback battle where you have Deonte Banks and Cordell Flott. Banks is a former first-round pick, so you almost feel like he has to be locked in there. But the Giants clearly were not happy with how he played, how the secondary played last season. They went out and spent big money on Paulson Adebo. And so he's locked in at one of those corner spots. So this second corner spot is going to be Banks or Flott. And so both of those guys started games last season for the Giants. Both are talented, but Flott was more of an inside guy. And so now that he's moving to the outside, the Giants want to see, can he play the outside well? And it seems like he seems to be getting more comfortable with each week. So this is a competition that is going to go down to the wire. We'll see what happens when the Giants face the Patriots on Thursday night, and it is absolutely a competition that could be decided in that game. We saw Flott kind of lock up Garrett Wilson on Saturday. That was huge. That will really give you a shot to earn a starting job. So this one is going to go down to the wire, and I won't be surprised if Flott overtakes the first-round pick, Deonte Banks.
All right, so we'll get to the other side and talk Patriots. We will get to that position battle in just a second, but Breech, I'll have you go first this time. Who's caught your eye? And it's a guy that is quickly rising up some of those fantasy draft boards at the running back position.
Yeah, it's absolutely Travion Henderson. You look at what the very first touch of preseason, there were some fireworks in New England. He touches the ball, boom, 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. And that is how you make a statement. That is how you let the whole organization know that, hey, we might have a steal here in this second-round running back. And so what Henderson's done isn't just kickoff returns. He's doing pretty well a running back, running the ball, averaging well over 5 yards per carry. He had an 18-yard run on his first carry of the preseason, so almost as electrifying as that kickoff return. And he's also caught a few passes out of the backfield. So what he's done is, so far, he's been that perfect kind of electrifying weapon that the Patriots wanted, that Swiss Army knife where you can have him return kicks, you can have him catch passes out of the backfield, you can give him the ball and watch him just run people over. So far, he has had an impressive training camp and looked impressive in 2 preseason games.
Honorable mention, Lan Larison, running back out of UC Davis, tearing up camp outside of Henderson, but also Efton Chisholm, the wide receiver out of Eastern Washington, another undrafted rookie free agent that was at the Hula Bowl, got the call up to the Shrine Bowl, and has been starring not only in practice, but also in those games as well.
Shout out to the Aggies, by the way, UC Davis, as Emory has the Efton Chisholm the third here. And then in terms of position battles, Breech, very on brand for you to go kickers here.
Yeah, you knew I was going to come in with a special teams battle, Tommy. I couldn't show my face today if I didn't have a special teams battle. And you know what? Kicker battles are fun to watch in games because if you're trying to keep track of an offensive line battle while you're watching on TV, it can be a little difficult. With kickers, it's pretty simple. Did the field goal go through the uprights? And so that's what the Patriots are dealing with right now. They used a draft pick on Andy Borgalis, who has been pretty solid in training camp, and then he is kicking against John Parker Romo. And both guys have been pretty fantastic so far. They've both each gotten a kick in both of New England's 2 preseason games where Gallis missed a 57-yard field goal. That is the only miss that either of them have had in those 2 preseason games. So they have been pretty solid. If it does end up as a tie, I do think the Patriots would keep Borgalis because he is a draft pick. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on Thursday night against the Giants.
Kyle Duggar is in a battle for his job, which is so weird to say because he's third behind Jalen Hawkins and a rookie Craig Woodson out of Cal. He has to pop in this ball game to remind Mike Vrabel that he is that guy and he warrants an opportunity to continue on with the Patriots.
All right, guys, certainly appreciated Emory Hunt and John Breech with a look at Thursday's preseason teams, the Giants and the Patriots. A reminder that CBS enters its 66th year of broadcasting NFL games and will feature more than 100 regular season games here in 2025.